Hello students, welcome to your practicum class. I decided this morning that I would record just a quick video for you guys with just a few little things to know about time to track. This is something I kind of decided to do last minute because I know time to track is new for you guys, and even though you have instructions in your Blackboard shell and you do have the quick guide, sometimes I think it's easier just to take a look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go through just a couple little things with you. Okay, so let's see. I want to show you, this is what you should see when you first log into Time to Track. And what you need to do first is set up your placement, which I think can be a little bit confusing because there's not a place when you first log in that says set up a placement. So what you're going to do is you're going to add a new activity. Okay. You should see this little yellow box pop up that says you can click here to create your first placement. You can also, if for some reason that box doesn't pop up, you can click on this Add a Placement button. But I'm going to click on here. And hopefully I have set up all the demos correctly so that we can do this together. So this is really, really important. Setting up a placement on Time to Track is super important because that's how everything is sent to you. So anytime I need to send a form to you or your supervisor, or anytime you need to log an activity and send that off for approval, it can only happen correctly if your placement is set up correctly. So this is really important. So you're going to leave this level here as masters. Then you're going to click your course. So for all of you practicum students, you're going to be in CSL 514. Now you're going to find your training site. So this is going to be your professional practice site that was approved. If all your paperwork has been turned in and everything has been approved by me, then your site should be listed here somewhere. So you're just going to scroll through this list of sites until you find yours. And I'm going to click on a demo site that I have called CCU Internal. Then you're going to make sure it's on the correct term. So it defaulted to fall 2018. And just go ahead and check those dates, make sure this all looks correct. And then you're going to find your faculty member. If for some reason your faculty member is not listed here, you need to let me know right away, but they should all be listed here. So I'm going to go find my faculty member. And then I'm going to find my supervisor. So you'll see here, let me just make sure I got the right person here. Okay. So you'll see here that there's two supervisors listed under this site. So you'll see whatever supervisor is attached to this site. So hopefully your supervisor is entered in here. So you'll just go ahead and click on that person. And you'll click Save. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. It gets kind of confusing with the demos because some of them are all listed under my name. So right now it says that my placement is the course, CSL 514, my site, CCU Internal, the supervisor's name is Jessica Baith, and the faculty is Ross Geller, and the term here, fall 2018. So that's my placement. And then if I need to add an activity, I'm going to go back to the Activities tab. And if you have more than one site, then you'll have more than one placement. Same thing with supervisors. You will potentially have multiple supervisors. So now I'm going to add my first activity. So I'm going to go ahead and find my placement. I only have one, but like I said, you might have multiple depending on how many sites you're at. I'm going to make sure my supervisor is correct. So let's just say I'm getting supervision from Jessica Vaith and Ross Geller. I'm going to add my activity depending on who I'm being supervised by at that time. And then I'm going to find my treatment setting. For this demo, I'm going to go ahead and select school. And then I'm going to find my activity type. Your activity types are already listed in here for you. So you don't create your own, you're just going to find one that matches what you've done in this list. So I'm going to go ahead and log an indirect activity. Let's go ahead and just say clinical training. And then you're going to add however many hours you did of clinical training. So I'm going to say I did an hour. These tags are for you only. We don't really keep track of this, but if you're wanting to tag something specific, so let's just say, for example, I was going to be adding, like I was studying for my national counseling exam. This is something you might be doing in your internship. So I would be doing like other indirect, and I wanted to just say like tag it as NCE. Oops. There we go. Then I could tag that because you can only log 36 hours of study time towards your national counseling exam. So that would be a good way for you to like keep track of however many hours you've logged. That's just an example. Another example could be maybe you work at a community mental health center, or you do like work with an eating disorder population, and there's milieu counseling that you can be doing. We only allow you to count 25 of those hours as direct hours. So that would be another way if you were wanting to try to keep track of them, you could tag those hours. You can do that however you want. I'm going to go back and click on my clinical training for an hour, and I'm going to add and enter another. Perfect. Now, same placement, same supervisor, same treatment setting. Now, though, I want to log a direct hour. So I'm going to go down here and click on individual counseling. This is for you to add your clients. You will code them however you want. So let's just say this is a new client I need to add. And my code is going to be, I'm going to do their initials. With a number. I mean, you could figure out your codes however that works for you. I'm going to put their age in here and their gender. You can add any other information you want. I'm going to save that. And I saw this client for an hour. And I'm going to add, and I'm going to enter in another one. I also today got supervision. So I did site individual supervision for an hour. And I'm going to add and enter another. Let's just say I also today, you did a lot of things today. I also today did site group supervision. No, I'm sorry, that's not what I want. University group supervision. So university group supervision is how you're going to log your class time. So when you actually meet with your practicum class for an hour and a half every week. So I'm going to log that as an hour and a half and add, because that's all I'm going to add today. So now you'll see all of our activities that we just added here. We have our clinical training for an hour, our individual counseling for an hour, our site individual supervision for an hour, and our university group supervision for an hour and a half, with a total of 4.5 hours. So now you've logged your hours. The next step is to send those off for approval. So your site supervisor cannot actually see these hours until you send them off for approval. So it says the status is confirmed right now. All that means is that you have added that activity. So what you're going to do to send them off is go to the Approvals tab. And we're going to make our first one. Make sure you got the correct placement up here, correct supervisor. And you'll see all of our hours that are listed here that we added today. So you could, if you wanted, you could just click on one of them and send them off, but I want to send all 4.5 hours off. So I click on all those, and now I'm going to click Submit Selected Activities for approval. There you go. Once you do that, so you may have just heard my computer beep at me, because what happened was I sent those off for approval, and now my supervisor has gotten an email notification letting them know that they have hours that need to be approved. So what you'll see now is just that activity down here. It's 4.5 hours, and they've been submitted. Once this has been approved, this status will change and it will say approved. Okay. So I'm going to, I'll stop sharing really quick, and I'm going to approve these hours just so you can get an idea of what that's going to look like as well for you. So if I can do that really quick. Okay, so I want you to see this. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen in just a second. Okay, so now I went in there and I approved these hours. So now you'll see, so once the supervisor approves them, the status changes. Now it says approved. So that's great. If your supervisor rejected them for whatever reason, you're gonna see this here, this rejected status. And they might leave a note on why those were rejected. So you can click on it and you'll see, so this supervisor, she approved them and then she said, you're doing a great job. But if they were rejected, he or she might leave a note here as to why they were rejected as well. So the other thing that you'll eventually see then is you'll see another box pop up right here. It'll be yellow and it will say verified. So the next step after your supervisor approves these hours is for your faculty member, which is whoever is teaching your practicum class, to verify the hours. So once that happens, you should see a verified button right here next to the approved one. At that point, everything has been done that needs to be done with this particular set of hours. So it's really important for you to remember that your hours must be logged, sent off for approval, approved, and then verified. So I would recommend for best practices for you as a student is getting into Time to Track every time that you are at your internship site, every time that you log hours, essentially. I would just get in there and add those activities, and I would send off hours for approval at least once a week. You know, so if you can get into a good practice of sending your hours off for approval before your supervision meeting with your supervisor, that would be great. And then I would get into a practice of sitting down with your site supervisor in your supervision, opening up Time to Track and going over those hours and having them approve them right then and there. So if you're submitting hours once a week and they're approving hours once a week, then your faculty member can get in there once a week and verify all of your hours. This way, you're keeping up with it week to week. You're not letting the whole semester go by without, you know, sending hours over for approval. And that way, if there is any mistakes or there's something goofy going on, we can catch that right away. So it would be best practice, I would say, to just at least be in there weekly. But as a student, in my opinion, it just makes sense to go ahead and add those activities every time you do something at your site. So that is a quick rundown of Time to Track. Let me think if there's anything else I want to show you really quick. I think that is really everything that you're going to need to see, at least up until this point. Obviously, as the semester goes on, there's going to be some more things to look at. So for example, you'll get forms at the end of the semester sent to you, and those are going to be your evaluation forms. You won't even see a forms tab pop up in your Time to Track until there's a form to look at. And so you should see that forms tab pop up about mid-semester, because your supervisor is going to get a evaluation form, a CCSR form, to evaluate you. They will go over that with you in supervision, and once they submit it in Time to Track, then you're going to see it in your account. So you'll see a forms tab pop up, and you'll be able to go in there and check out those forms. So I'll show you real quick. So you see all these tabs up here. Eventually, you're going to see a tab that says Forms, and you'll be able to click on that and see your CCSR form. You'll be able to sign it electronically and then submit that. And you'll actually print those off and submit them to Blackboard. And again, like I said, at the end of the semester, you're going to have some evaluation forms in there as well. The last thing I'll show you really quick is this assessments tab. So if you click on this, you're going to be able to see a total of your hours that you have logged. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this placement, click on the supervisor, and then I only want to see my approved hours. So I'm going to filter that out. Oh, it's not showing anything. What am I doing here? Okay, so it's saying that we don't have any approved hours, which I'm not sure exactly why that's saying that right now. Well, I don't know what's going on there, you guys. I'm sorry. What I wanted to show you is your hours should eventually all show up here approved. And then once that happens, you'll be able to see a breakdown of all of your hours. And you'll be able to print those off for your class. I don't know why that's not working right now. It must be something in my demo account that's funky. But what you'll do is you'll just go to this tab here, make sure you have the correct placement and the correct supervisor, click on the approved hours only, and then you'll filter it. And ideally what happens is every hour that you've logged that's been approved will show up here. And this is a really nice tool because you're able to, let's see if that changes anything. Nope. You're able to see all the hours you've collected, and then you can print this off, and this is what you will submit to Blackboard as well. So not sure exactly what's going on there. It's probably something with the way that I have set up the demo account. So anyways, that's kind of a quick rundown of Time to Track. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, your faculty should be able to help you. You can always reach out to the help desk at help@timetotrack.com. But you can also contact me, email me, or call me. We can get online together and we can troubleshoot things as well and hopefully figure it out together. So good luck. You guys have a great semester. And if you need anything, you just let me know.